Hey everyone, RogueGold here, and today we're back with The Division 2. This week has been an absolute whirlwind with the announcement of The Division Resurgence. Things have just been completely crazy, and I was doing as many videos as I could to try and get the information out about that game, share my thoughts and whatnot, but we can't forget that this week kicked off with the major news that came in the form of the big Division Universe timeline update, and not only did that provide details for the remainder of 2022 content across the Division Universe, but it also confirmed to us, among other things, that The Division 2 will be coming back for a fifth year of content, which is insane. That's huge for a number of reasons, and so I'm finally making my way through the piles of videos that I've been wanting to do since the news dropped, and we're going to discuss the detail, significance, and potential content of The Division 2's Year 5. I have a lot of thoughts. It's an exciting announcement, so let's get right into it. So, The Division 2, Year 5, it's happening. Here's the exact quote that was given in the announcement earlier this week. The development of Year 4 is led by a group of project veterans at Ubisoft Massive with the support of a talented group of developers at Ubisoft Bucharest, Ubisoft Toronto, and Ubisoft Shanghai. Without the support from these teams, the production of new content wouldn't be possible. We are looking forward to continuing this collaboration with Year 5 of The Division 2. Now, this wording is kind of funny because Yannick explained to us before that the extent of Toronto and Shanghai's contributions to the project are just help with cosmetics and cutscenes, but regardless, that's help nonetheless, of course. And then, yeah, it says pretty plainly at the end right there that they are coming back for Year 5. Like I said, this is significant for a number of reasons. Firstly, it wasn't that long ago when Yannick said that Year 5 was not a guarantee. He basically laid it out for us on the Season 9 reveal stream that it was going to be dependent on the relative success of Year 4. But here we are, less than 2 months after TU15 and Season 9's release, and Year 5 has already been greenlit. That's insane. That means that this update alone and the seasonal revenue from it had to be so impressive that Ubisoft was like, alright, here's another 12 months of content. Like, that's nothing to scoff at, guys. That's a big indicator of Division 2's comeback in popularity after the content drought. You can dead game the Division all you want, but facts don't lie. And the fact is that the start of Year 4 has been an unequivocal success, and that's really awesome to see as a fan of the Division. It means that the gamble paid off. You know, as silly as I think the vast majority of us think it was for Ubi to shut down the Division 2's development after Season 4 in the first place, they were undeniably taking a risk by greenlighting more content that was going to have a significant gap attached to it. There was no guarantee that after a 10 to 15 month content drought, players would come back to play the game. But they did, and now we're seeing the result of that huge comeback with the greenlighting of Year 5. And part of the reason why it's so significant and awesome that Ubi has done this at this moment in time is that it means we don't have to suffer another content drop between Year 4 and Year 5 content like we did before. Part of the problem is that they didn't greenlight new content for the game until just when Year 2 was concluding, and the majority of the team had already been disbanded. That meant that Yannick, Palais, and the rest of whoever was left had to get new people, new ideas, and get to work. And not only is the typical development timeline for a title update 9 to 12 months, as Yannick explained in the interview I did with him, but they had to spend the first 3 to 4 month period just finding sufficient numbers of people and training on, to get them how to use Snowdrop, etc. That's why we waited a total of 15 months for the new content, but thankfully that will not be the case this time because Ubisoft has greenlit this stuff now. Not only will the team finding and training aspect not be a factor anymore because they've already got their team and it's growing, which we'll talk about more in a minute, but that 9 to 12 month title update development timeline fits in perfectly with this announcement. We know that TU16 is dropping August 30th and TU17 is dropping early December. That should leave one final season and update for Year 4 to come right around early to mid-March, meaning that the kickoff season and update for Year 5 would be right around June of 2023, 11 months from now. So for once, I have to congratulate and thank Ubisoft for thinking ahead a little bit and not making us wait again while they twiddle their thumbs and decide if they want more money or not. The decision has been made and Year 5 should kick off seamlessly and without pause after the conclusion of Year 4. That sounds really awesome to me. So now that we've talked about the logistics, I want to talk a little bit about what we might be able to expect with Year 5 as far as the actual content. Now, obviously, it's impossible to predict what we might actually get. We know Season 10 is bringing us new legendary missions, Season 11, another new game mode, but who knows what Season 12 might have, let alone 13 through 16. But one thing I think is important to recognize is that Year 5 will have the most amount of resources and support behind it that we've seen since the beginning of Year 4. And that's because the development team is continually growing. Not only have there been a lot of new hires already in 2022, I mean, let's not forget that Morton, who has been such a huge figure in the community as the product director, only came on in like January or February of this year, so that's pretty crazy. But if you go onto Massive's website right now, they're hiring a game director. That's massive, no pun intended. A game designer, a technical artist, and that's just a massive. Who knows what kind of hires and growth they have over at Bucharest. And so, while it's impossible to give any sort of educated predictions about what specific content we might get in year 5, one thing I think I'm definitely expecting to a degree is a continual increase in volume of changes in content per update. I think the limited team size they have at their disposal for the majority of year 4 is reflected in Season 10 just bringing us 2 new legendary missions, as opposed to the new game mode and progression system that Season 9 had. But as things continue to gel more and they get more and more people into the fold, perhaps content on the level of TU15 could be, a regular thing throughout the majority of updates moving forward. Who knows? One thing I am hoping for in the distant future is a bit of a redesign of the game's holistic difficulty and structure. I know Yannick mentioned this in the Season 9 reveal stream as something they would like to tackle eventually, but especially with Season 11 bringing us another new game mode, I personally feel as though we're beginning to get to the point of what's the point of playing the majority of the game's content? Targeted loot is awesome. It's a fantastic quality of life feature, but when I can play Countdown, target my own loot, and get a crap ton of nade items and just regular loot in these short sessions, why would I ever go and complete a weekly invasion or do a bounty? And is Season 11's new game mode just going to be even more efficient and more rewarding for farming, making people just want to go play the new thing? Because that's kind of what Countdown did to Summit. And aside from, the farming method that's in Summit, I just think we're getting to the point where the Division 2 already has so much great content and areas at its disposal that maybe it's time to go back and try and revitalize what we already have, as opposed to continuing to create these one-off experiences that only hold your attention for so long. It's just a thought. With the amount of pre-planning time they have now and the increasing number of developers and resources, I think Year 5 is going to bring us some awesome new additions to the game, and I'm really excited to see the devs' plans for it. So yeah, everybody, that's my breakdown and quick thoughts about the confirmation of the Division 2 receiving Year 5 content. Thank you all so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and be sure to subscribe with notifications on to be updated every time I upload. Let me know your thoughts about this news. Are you excited about the Division 2 getting at least another 12 months of content after Year 4? Do you perhaps have any reservations, and what do you think we might ultimately see get added to the game? There's a lot of possibilities, a lot of unknowns at this point, but as I've said recently with Heartland and now Resurgence, it's just so awesome to see the Division universe continuing to take shape. I mean, by the time we get into 2023, there's going to be regular updates and content releasing for 3 games: Division 2, Heartland, and Resurgence. How nuts is that? Not to mention intermittent, novel releases, the movie coming out eventually. It's just all unbelievable, honestly. I think if you had told little old 2016 me that in 6 years he'd be playing the same franchise and now making YouTube videos about its 3 concurrent games, he'd say you were completely crazy, but here we are. I'm immensely excited for the journey ahead, everybody, and as always, I'm very thankful to have you all here on it with me. That's going to do it for today, though, everybody. Once again, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and until the next one, guys, RogueGold.